Hello, welcome back to another channel for Source Energies. Today, me and my spirit team and I have a special guest for you. Hello, how are you doing today? We're doing good, thank you. Can you please tell them what you told me? Yes, gladly. There are no such thing as muggles. The Ministry of Magic made them up to prevent us and keep us from the truth that magic is inherent everywhere and in everything and in everyone. Why would they try to hide that from us? Power. They want to keep it for themselves so they can keep it under wraps, so they can make sure that they have the control. It's always about control with these governments. I see. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience? Yes. That is, that magic is inherent within everyone and everything, as I said before, but more importantly, it's not just about spells and doodahs and wands and trolls and wickwacks. It's important to know the very words that come out of your mouth are magic, enchantments, sentences, spells that affect everybody because of our study and our dedication to the symbols. So what you're saying is that our minds were built to inherently understand symbols, and those symbols help create connections, or more solidified, what they call it, engrams that create our ability to comprehend, understand, and perpetuate our habits and our tendencies. Yes, simply put. All right. What else were we going to talk about again? I forget. So we're going to talk about how things are. So essentially, like the universe and okay. Let's try to keep it simple, but I'm gonna try. So we're just gonna use basic symbols that everyone can grasp, or basic, understandings that everyone knows about. Exactly. Something that everyone can relate with would be the best place to start with that. In fact, I'd put me on your head before you butcher this whole thing to smithereens, incomprehensible nonsensory. Okay. Thank you. I will do that. Okay. So, tapping in to source energies. Essentially, imagine a golden white light, or a light that holds all colors. That is the beginning and the end, returning but always present. Yeah, I know it's already paradoxical. Most of what's going to come out of my mouth is going to be really paradoxical, because we're talking about a universe that pretty much thrives off of interconnectedness, paradoxes. But don't worry, they can all be reconciled and understood given enough time and study. So essentially, a golden white light, or a light that is capable of holding all colors, all things, and everything. The kingdom of heaven is what we're essentially talking about. And within that heaven is a matrix, or a matrix that we can call nothing, but it's only nothing because we can't comprehend it. So we use the term nothing in order to describe this something that we can't comprehend. It's kind of confusing, but simply put, imagine a prism and a light shining through that prism. And when that light shines through that prism or that matrix, it expounds many different variations of colors. It's separate now. It was once whole, but it becomes separate for the sake of, let's just say, experiencing all the different variations of itself through the illusion of separateness, okay? It's through this separateness that we may come to understand ourselves or itself, the creator becoming part of the created, more efficiently, better, in all the variation, in all the different ways, in a more unique and a more personalized kind of way, right? Well, throughout this splitting, throughout this creator becoming part of the created and the created experiencing the creator in its infinite forms. I know some religions don't want to hear about this, but it's just how nature works. It's just how things work. It's just the reality of things. There wouldn't be so many ethnicities. There wouldn't be so many different races. There wouldn't be aliens and all kinds of different forms of consciousness if that was not the case. So, going on, through this splitting is born, let's just say, the astral bodies, the divinities, the elements, the archetypes, the higher selves, the everything, okay? Anything and everything that you could possibly comprehend and cannot comprehend, right? This infinite source has created it, is creating it, and has created more of it. I don't know how to explain it besides it's both created, creating, and has create and is in the process of creating. It's hard to explain the paradox. It gets complicated. You have to explain it in 3 or more words is how I usually end up being able to nail it. Essentially, it's a place outside of time, but still it holds the qualities of time for the sake of, understanding it and for the sake of having to experience it, having experienced it, and needing to still experience it, right? So, when all these things are created, eventually you come to a form of consciousness known to us commonly as human, right? It's a human consciousness. Consciousness is inherent in all things, one way or another. As some books of the esoteric have explained, the all is inherent within everything and everyone and everything is inherent within the all. It's all experiencing itself, and itself is experiencing experience, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense to most of you. But our degree of comprehension does depend on the vessel. A bird experiences a different form of consciousness. A worm makes a different form. They're all different forms of consciousness. The elements may not, the grass and the water and the trees, some of these, they all have elements of consciousness to them, even though they're not similar to our own consciousness. Still, they are conscious in their own right. They have a degree of the creator within them. Some of them have more degree of consciousness than we're willing to admit, than we're even willing to talk about sometimes. So, the term psychic medium is psychic medium because they're a medium for psychic phenomenon. They're a medium for the psyche. They're a medium for consciousness. And consciousness comes in many different forms. Many different forms. That's why some people can sense things other people can't. I'm not saying that there's no such thing as, let's just say sick people, but to the degree in which we can understand, comprehend our reality, and the degree in which we interact with it is where we determine whether someone or something is diseased or, healthy. It depends on their interaction with reality. Well, that heavily depends on our understanding of reality itself. Like I've said before in a previous video, the ones and zeros of reality are symbols. It's through symbolic meaning. It's through my vocalization of particular symbols that sparks, synaptic happenings in our minds in order for us to comprehend it. And that depends on what you study. That depends on the connections you've made with these symbols. That depends on your experience, It really varies on the person. But all in all, we have a similar structure. All in all, we have a similar purpose, and that's experience, to understand, to create, to express ourselves, to be. We're here just to remind you that we are all magic, that everything is magic, and that it is through our experience and understanding of it to where we gain some sort of understanding or control or influence over it, okay? So, I love to answer questions. I love to talk about this kind of stuff. It is my passion to be here, and it's my passion to express myself in this way, and I'd like to share that with you. Feel free to leave any sort of comment or, like I said, belief conversation. I'll respect your beliefs. I hope you respect mine. I'm just here to help with our closeness to the One, to the Source, to God. And yes, I believe in the holy divinities. Yes, I believe in Yahweh. Yes, I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Divine Mother, Earth, and the True Father. And I also believe that people have sought to control this information, use it against us, manipulate us, confuse us, and make us into obedient people to serve their culture, to serve the culture in the way. And I'm not pointing fingers. It's all religions have tapped into this and have misused this and done this. And I want our true religion to be the truth. I want our true religion to be understanding, to be compassion, to be harmony, to be the true love, the true source. That's what I want us to tap into. It's where we all emanate from. It's where we all came from. It's the part of us that can connect with everything dwells there. It's the part of us that wants to see connection, that wants to see understanding, that wants to create harmony, that brings us closer to this state of Christ consciousness, okay? This is where we want to be. Some of the powers that be, I jokingly said the Ministry of Magic, but it's just the governments in general. And I'm not trying to bash on them because, from their perspective throughout history, it's been difficult. We've done some terrible things, and sometimes the easiest way seems to be the most destructive way, and it's easier to create disharmony and confusion than it is to create unification and is to create understanding. So the only way this is going to change is if we, the people, prove it, show it, act on it, be it. Then we become more powerful. And if we use that power for good and show that we do not need somebody to confuse us, hurt us, and make us disharmonic, that we are capable of creating our own world of beauty and understanding, and are there for each other in the ways that we need to be, there's almost no need for a government, just for a facilitation of good communication and understanding. I want to dive into the chakra system now. Not that I'm trying to push any beliefs on you, but it is, based on what I've come to learn, a map for spirituality. The root chakra, okay, is based on our survival, on our wants and needs, okay? It is through the understanding of the root, of the base of our existence, where we learn to harmonize the lower self, the more animalistic self, with the higher self, the more refined self, the more communicative, the more understanding, the more appreciative we can be with our understanding of these lower energies, the easier it is to bring out the good vibratory force that exists within them. The yin has the yang within it, and we are able to bring it into a position where we become closer to source, to God, to each other, to communicating the truth, to expressing ourselves in the way that we need to, when rather than always blindly following our desires or wanting our desires more than needing our needs or needing to fulfill our desires, it'll do much better. We block off this chakra when we decide that we need what we want rather than we want what we need. It's a matter of feeling expressed, feeling like we're heard, feeling like we're being listened to, feeling like that we're okay, feeling that we're going to be taken care of, that brings us closer to having this chakra completely released in harmony and balanced with the rest of them. It is in the understanding of the lower self and its, let's just say, frequencies, urgencies, signals, whatever you want to call them, okay, instincts. It's in trying to understand and building a good relationship with this and getting to the root of why we feel mad, sad, angry, and all these other emotions, where we begin to truly see the value in it. We're mad because we feel threatened, or we feel like that the love we have is threatened and not being heard, or not being, treated correctly. We feel sad because, once again, we feel the lack mentality. But once we look at it and see that our bodies are trying to push us towards what we need and show us how to get that, it's a lot easier to keep this chakra light. It's a lot easier to keep this chakra clean. It's a lot easier to be there for each other in the ways we need to be. The next chakra is the sacral chakra. This emotion is involved with feelings and expectations, right? Depending on our expectations is going to heavily influence how we feel, and how we feel is going to heavily influence us. So in order for us to influence our feelings better, we adjust our expectations, what we expect. I'm not saying you're never going to feel angry, you're never going to feel sad, but I'm saying that once we harmonize and synchronize and try to understand these feelings, rather than trying to force them into a position we believe they should be, we begin to recognize and see just how much we expect certain things from other people and from ourselves. And this brings me up to the topic. When we feel like we're better than someone else, or we feel like we're worse than somebody else, all that's really showing is a lack of confidence in someone or something, in some element. Okay? And it also shows a lack of clarity in the power and in the uniqueness and in the ability to appreciate the positions, all the angles that exist, and which will bring us a particular unique vantage point. It's through the understanding of that and a reaffirmation and an affirming of our understanding where we'll begin to see new habits. Rather than being angry and not liking ourselves for it, we can just appreciate that anger and that not liking comes from a wanting, a yearning to synergize in a different kind of way. See, right there, we've changed it from a negative situation to a positive one. It's a matter of expectation. We can expect ourselves to feel negative emotions, but we can also appreciate them for what they are to help realign our expectations into a harmony, a synergizing, and an alchemizing, a transmutation of into the place we want to be. We are all alchemists. We are all capable of transmuting our old habits, our old emotions, and our old viewpoints into a more synergized harmonic. It just takes appreciation and true compassion and true love to get us there. The next chakra is known as the solar plexus chakra and has to do with the will. The will has to do with the other two chakras, the other lower chakras, the sacral and the root. This is why the bottom three, the solar plexus chakra, the sacral chakra, and the root chakra are so very important to get into alignment and to get into balance first, because these chakras heavily influence every other one. It's through our will, what we want, our intentions, what we choose to do, our goal, our aim point, that builds and reconstructs these habits, which in turn grants us new abilities, new capability, and new heights of understanding. These are the three most important chakras to harmonize, to synchronize, and to learn about in order to gain more synergy with the lower self and the higher self. An easy meditation for these chakras is to hold in place your consciousness in these particular areas, which I'll leave more info, and I'll also leave pictures and stuff like that up on the screen so you can see for yourself where they are synergized at. And just stay in a place of healing and synchronicity and be in harmony with your environment. It doesn't have to be a perfect environment. It's okay to be interrupted. It's okay to be distracted. This is a perfect time to practice that new type of synergy, that new type of harmony, that new type of understanding, and that new type of, let's just say, pressure being placed upon what you want to strengthen, your compassion, right? Your harmony, your love and light. It will become stronger the more pressure is placed upon it and the more you decide and you choose the will to be in synchronicity with the universe and with the love that exists, with the higher self. Okay. The next chakra is the heart chakra. This has a lot to do with what we hate and what we love, our passions versus what we loathe. All right. Once again, in harmony with the other three chakras, you begin to find more appreciation, more compassion, and more understanding for all that exists within you, both negative and positive, and realize that there is negative in the positive and there's positive in the negative. And understand that knowledge in itself isn't good or bad. Being able to understand something, being able to appreciate it for what it is, will grant you the power you need to overcome it, to be of it, and to not be afraid of, let's just say, learning new things. For example, I would never practice black magic, but I will read about demonology, black magic, the stuff that these negative people have wrote about and stuff like that, just so I can see and understand from their perspective how they choose to live their life. Or I've heard in the military too, you want to understand these weapon systems, you want to understand the minds and the hearts of the people in general, so you have a better understanding and you know what to do. You'll know how to synchronize, you'll know how to harmonize, you'll know how to approach situation. I'm not trying to tell you to go against your religion or to go hurt somebody, or it's good to figure out what it means to be a bully. I'm not saying that at all. Please don't take it that way. I'm just saying that, and knowledge is power, but more importantly, passion and power go hand in hand. What you're passionate about is what you become strong at, and everything you dish out comes back to you. So, fair warning to you who seek to use this knowledge for evil: you're only hurting yourself, even if you manage to hurt others. You're hurting ourselves. Just be kind to us. Don't do it. Be there for us, okay? There are negative entities out there that you don't want to tangle with, that have a job in this reality that you don't want to interfere with. God has a plan for everybody and everything. But God also respects our free will and respects everything. Otherwise, He wouldn't hold it within Him. He wouldn't hold it within her, however you want to put it. Okay? Be there for others as you would be for yourself, as they say, okay? I'm not trying to change your mind about any religion or what you think is good or evil. I'm just trying to let you know. I'm trying to help you build that relationship with God closer so you can be more accepting and more loving of those who may just need a loving word or two, or may just need, to be understood in a way. Okay, the next chakra is the throat chakra. Throat chakra is all about self-expression. It's about beliefs. It's about how we express those beliefs. It's about how we believe we should express ourselves. This chakra is blocked with inauthenticity. It is unlocked through authenticity. The more authentic you can be with yourself and express yourself the authentic way, the more in alignment you'll be. The more easy it will be to connect and understand. The less confused you'll be. The more of an easy time you will have of communicating with yourself, and with others, and with higher powers, okay? With the love and light of this world. I really hope and suggest that you live an authentic life and keep this chakra unblocked. The next chakra is famously the third eye chakra, right? Right. This chakra is all about what you see and how you're seeing it. And let's just say, has to do with the symbols you've studied, has to do with the connections you've made, and how you view essentially all the other lower chakras. If you're living inauthentically and harmonically, you're going to get lots of dissonance there. You're going to get lots of inharmonic things there. I'm not saying you won't pick up on negative stuff, because I know you will, but if you're focused on the positive and you're focused on the love and you're focused on the yang of the yin, right? You'll come to understand the lack of love. You'll come to understand the lack of care. You'll come to see the lack of the lack of authenticity, and it will just become easier for you to differentiate like that. And just know that your ancestors, your spirit guides, and the angels, and all the divinities that you believe in are there for you, and they're helping you, and they're there for you. And that connecting to them means vibrating at whatever your true essence is. If your true essence is negative, you're going to connect to negativity. If your true essence is more of a positive, you're going to connect more positively. And we can change. We can change. We can become greater and greater. It's in our DNA. It's in our very true essence to grow. This is a neutral plane of opportunity. This is a plane of evolution. This is a plane of choice. We're here to evolve. And then finally, the crown chakra. The crown chakra is your perception of connection to the truth of connection, okay? It's the place where truth and all-knowing is integrated with perception and your personal knowing and your perception of reality and your personality, okay? This is also said to be the chakra that connects you to source. My personal belief is I believe that the heart is connected to source, that has a sliver of the source within it. But they also say that, the mind or the pineal gland is the seat of the soul, but it really just depends. You know what I'm saying? Beliefs are different depending on the people you ask. I believe the heart is like the sun. It radiates, the light that exists within you. And I believe your mind's more like the black hole, absorbing and interpreting, giving off its own type of radiation, but, not quite as nourishing as the sun. Although they're both connected and both are necessary, both stabilize each other, and both help in their own ways, in their own unique positions, right? We can appreciate both. Anyway, thank you for hearing what I have to say. Thank you for hearing this channel message. Like I said, I'll be leaving a bunch of stuff on the description and a bunch of stuff on the bottom for you to read through. Have fun with that. Don't be afraid to leave questions, comments. Love to hear from you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Father, true Father. Thank you, Holy Spirit, Divine Mother. Thank you, Yahweh, for your guidance, for your love, and for your support, and for helping me deliver this message. It is my passion. I'll talk to you guys later, and amen.